Ripple is not right behind you right now? What if I tell you that Bloody Mary is right inside your mirror? Do you believe all these urban myths? What is an urban myth actually? Is it a big hoax, an unsolved mystery, or just some popular misconception? But whatever it is, you can't deny that urban myth is a part of every culture. So here we are today to introduce to you some of the urban myths. My name is Li Ting. I'm a student of nutrition and community health, and they are my teammates Nana and Agita. So next slide. Today we'll talk to you about 4 urban myths, which are slit mouth women, also known as Kuchi, Sake, or Nat, Bloody Mary, Mami Wata, as well as the Flying Dutchman. All of these urban myths are from different continents of the world. Now be prepared, because we are going to give you the scariest part of each urban myth. These are not for the weak hearts, I remind you. So next slide please. Now I want to talk to you about the first urban myth, which is slit mouth women, also known as Kuchi, Sake, or Nat. And as you can see in the picture, this is the character in the urban myth. A lady with a mouth being slitted from ear to ear. Next slide. So this urban myth is originated in Japan, which is a country in Asia. And this urban myth started around 1979. This urban myth is about a woman who was being mutilated by her psychotic husband, and she returned as a malicious and vengeful spirit. She will wear a surgical mask, carry a pair of scissors, and she will roam around every town and cities in Japan. If you happen to meet this lady, she'll ask you, "Am I pretty?" If you say no, she'll immediately kill you with her scissors. But if you say yes, she'll take off her mask and ask, "What about now?" Because you can see her mouth being slitted, right? And if you say no, she'll cut you in half with the scissors also. But if you say yes, oh my god, she'll slit your mouth just like hers. So whatever your answer is, you'll also suffer tragically, right? Yeah, so in short, this is all about this urban myth. If you meet this lady, it is impossible for you to run away because she'll reappear in front of you. So if you meet this lady, that means you are doomed. Okay, now, are you ready for more? Now I'll invite my friends to continue with other urban myths. Thank you.
Now I'm going to talk about an urban myth that originated from Northern America. To most Americans, Bloody Mary is an alcoholic drink, but what I'm talking about today, this is, as you can see, it's not an alcoholic drink. This is really stuck in the mirror. In 1693, Mary was said to be a witch in Salem, Massachusetts. And to be called a witch at that time, it was the equivalent of a death sentence. So she was brutally murdered in front of a mirror, and it is said that her spirit transferred into the mirror, and so she became a malicious spirit that had the ability to move from one mirror to the next. And to call on her, when you want to call her forth, you have to say Bloody Mary 3 times in a mirror or a clear reflective substance like a pool of water, and she comes out. And it is said that when that happens, anyone around the vicinity that had any direct or indirect relation with someone else's death she would kill that person. She would either dig out your eyes and scar you horribly, or your body would be found dead in the woods with claw marks, or you would disappear into the mirror to be lost with her forever. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about this. This is an African lady. It's called a Mami Wata. It's an African spirit, water spirit. It's located in the Western Africa, and the origin of this urban legend started in the 17th century. It's a water spirit that enchants men. It has no power over women. So what happens is it appears to fishermen or people nearby any river as a beautiful, mostly naked lady. And what it does is that it enchants them and they sort of lose their mind. And most of them end up being drowned. They voluntarily walk into the water and drown themselves. Or if she gets close enough, she drags you down into the bottom of the river where she eats you with her sisters. That's all. Next. Now,
now I'd like to cover an urban myth from Europe, which is the Flying Dutchman. The Flying Dutchman is a myth originated from mythical folklore in the Netherlands, and it has been adapted in many stories, including the Pirates of the Caribbean, as I'm sure you're all familiar with. There's also the animated comedy series SpongeBob SquarePants, and the adaptations went back as early as the 1800s in literatures and operas. Next. So the Flying Dutchman is most likely derived from sailor superstition, and the story tells about a captain called Captain Van der Decken, and he was sailing to, he's from the Dutch East India Company, and he was sailing to Batavia, which was in the Southeast Asia, and in South Africa they hit a storm, and he was persistent and stubborn to sail into the storm. And after hours of battling the storm, they eventually struck a rock and they sank. And as they were sinking, he wasn't ready to die, and he cursed that he will round the cape. He will round the cape. He will round the cape even if they have to keep on sailing until the end of time. And so the belief is that they are still sailing, and seeing the ship means bad omen. There has been a few sightings throughout the couple of centuries, and the most famous one is made by the British Royal Navy ship, and the record was made by a midshipman who later became King George V, and he recorded a lookout man who described the ship as a strange red light, as phantom ship all aglow. So the last sighting was in the 1940s, and it is still believed in the area of Cape of Good Hope in South Africa, which was the place where they were battling the storm. That if a storm brews off the Cape of Good Hope, it will. If you look closely into the storm, you can see the ship, and if you see the ship, you will die a terrible death. So this urban myth is not as creepy as the previous other three, but I guess in Europe, people are not really into those creepy stories. So moving on to the conclusion. Where do urban myths come from? From different parts of the world, urban myths shares common things in common, and one of rely on true concrete facts. And some people say that discovering the truth behind urban myths is not as important as the lessons they impart. And we as humans enjoy them as merely as stories, and we tend to at least half believe that they are based on accurate reports. So why do people believe them? Because as quoted by folklorists in University of Wales, life is so much interesting with monsters in it. Michael J. Cole. That's it. So that's the end of our speech.